Hey, this is Michael Pena.
And this is Lisa Marie Woods.
And this is Teens Wanna Know's 2015 Hollywood Awards Show Wrap-Up. The Hollywood Award season has wrapped up. And while everyone knows the Oscars, there are plenty of other award shows that happen around the same time, which honor many different facets of the entertainment industry. In this episode of Teens Wanna Know, we interview some very big stars in the fields of acting, directing, and writing to give you teens real advice on what it takes to make it in the biz. We start off with the prestigious African American Film Critics Association Awards.
Tonight's event is going to be spectacular. Right now, everyone's kind of like, going inside because there's going to be a lot of awards presented tonight. There's also all of our talented actors, actresses, producers, screenwriters are all here tonight.
Yeah. So tell us about the experience of working on Selma.
It was amazing. I mean, you can't play Dr. King and not be changed by the experience, and I certainly feel that way. But, it's the beauty of it has kept on going because now the audience is discovering the film, and thankfully they're loving it, and that's why you make the film.
And why do you think teenagers should watch the movie?
Well, I think, we may have a sense of who Dr. King is, but we don't really know who he is. And I actually was teaching a class in my son's school today, and so many of them just knew more about him because of having seen the film. And it's not just a dry history lesson, it's incredibly entertaining, and you get a sense of what happened in the past.
Hopefully they'll understand that the freedoms that they have today didn't come lightly.
Yeah.
Somebody had to pay for it. And with blood, sweat, death. So somebody paid for the stuff that they consider that they deserve.
Today we're here celebrating movies, and a lot of which feature African American voices. What do you think is the biggest thing that needs to happen to see more positive black images in film?
I think we need to get behind the cameras, and start running our studios. The thing that Oprah Winfrey is doing and what she did with Selma, and just bringing that and making sure that happens. So until we do that, we can make change happen by getting behind it.
I mean, definitely, we need to get an opportunity first. Yeah. Once we get an opportunity, then we can sort out what's good for us.
For sure.
A movie like Selma, it's about a heroic, character who changed the world. That needs to be celebrated. Yeah, the power is we're all together, we're all one. It's just, we need more of that. More heroes, more characters, more stories being told that are positive and not heartbreaking. Keep creating your own content. The only way to keep pushing the envelope and to keep expression alive is to keep expressing it. We need black playwrights. You need black directors, black writers, black actors, all across the board. Not just you need black producers on the whole gamut. Yeah. Not just one facet, not just in front of the camera.
Exactly.
First of all, there has to be a positive approach to what you do. Mm-hmm. People always say to me, wow, you always seem to do very quality work. I said, well, I make quality choices. If I look at a script and I say to myself, if I wouldn't go see this, why would I want to be in it? Mm-hmm. So I think that the choices begin at a very early age. I tell young actors all the time, I said some of the most important choices you make as an actor are the choices you make before anybody knows who you are.
Our industry needs to catch up to what the audience already knows, and that is that stories that are about us or that include us have more of or make more of a statement about society as opposed to just one group of people. We really are more alike than we are dissimilar. And as soon as the industry really does take hold of that and say, yeah, the audience really does believe that and they really do get with that, then you'll see more quote unquote diversity in our industry.
We need our audiences to say, yes, we want to see it. Yes, we love it. And then that way the studios and everyone else will realize that there's an audience, there's an appetite for this, and we'll get to see more. But if that doesn't happen, grab your camera and make the film yourself.
I think that we just need to keep on going with the writing and support our black producers, directors, because if we support them, then more will come. So. Yeah.
We have stories that the world needs to know.
That need to be told.
Everybody has their own book. You have a story.
Yeah.
We can tell great stories that are positive. Like our network, Bounce TV, it's over-the-air broadcast, and it's free to families to watch. So we have to be mindful of that. And not every content provider is always thinking of kids and family.
We live in one country, kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
you look at this, even right here, as you see beautiful black brothers and sisters, you see Mexican brothers, you know what I'm saying? You see some Asian brothers. I mean, we here.
Yeah.
That's where we at.
If you could travel back in time and give one piece of advice to your teen self, what would it be?
If I could travel back in time to my teen self, I'd say skip the drugs.
Skip the drugs?
Skip the drugs. Don't need them.
When you're a teenager, sometimes that's when you're introduced to a lot of different things, and you have to make choices about who you're gonna be, who you're gonna be. And then there's all these groups of people that are like this, and they're like that, and they're like that. And I would also say to be able to just stand on your own 2 feet, to know that you are special, that you're valuable, that you don't have to assimilate to how this group is and how that group is, to know how special you are.
For sure.
Tell them about Tabasco.
Oh, and I have a parody out right now of the song Coco that I know you all know. I made a parody called Tabasco. So who's not in love with Tabasco? I am. Are you?
I am.
Are you?
I'm a sriracha guy myself.
And I talk about that in the song.
Hey!
All forms of hot sauce.
Yeah.
Sriracha, Frank's.
I'm going to annoy my parents by blasting that tonight.
Please.
If you could travel back in time and give one piece of advice to your teen self, what would it be?
Stay in school.
Next up, we take you to the Cinema Audio Society Awards, which honors excellence in sound.
What was the biggest obstacle you faced in completing Boyhood, and how did you overcome it?
There was no one obstacle. It was more like a mindset that had to be adopted. It had to do with patience, I guess, and there was logistical challenges certainly, but it was more of a psychological mindset that you had to take on to kind of take on such a long form, big canvas project. So that was fun. You had to make all the unknowns that you could be afraid of, you had to make those your friend.
So what's something about your job that you want to let people know about, like a misconception maybe?
Oh, well, it's very collaborative, and I don't think people, like, for example, someone hears my voice on a cover of a song like Jet Plane, and then it's in the movie, and I wouldn't have thought of that, and so I recorded it for that, and it's kind of a hit for me, but it started there from someone else's vision, or my song with Kendrick Lamar that I wrote, this ain't no game, I'm taking all you have and you're gonna pay for it. And then it ends up in a LeBron commercial for Beats, and that it's very collaborative because I had nothing to do with someone thinking of that, so
you never know where your art will take you.
You don't know where it's going to take you, and I think that more and more the message that I would say to anyone is just show up, because you just don't know.
You just don't realize how much your performances are enhanced by great lighting, great sound, great production design.
For sure.
Simple as that.
Definitely collaboration.
Yeah. That's what I'd like to let people know, that I could be just acting in a cold, dark room, but it's everybody else that really is, they're the important one.
Bring the product, yeah. So what advice could you give to teenagers who really want to land a job in this business?
Respect the crew. They're your lifeblood. They are, any one of them is smarter than 10 actors in a room together. They work harder in a day than you ever will in a year. And they are your lifeblood. They can be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Real talk. Wow.
I'm a big fan of all aspects of the industry.
Yeah.
And I think that it's beautiful what they can create just through sound is something amazing. It's like my part is different. Their part is totally different, and I completely admire that.
What's the biggest advice you could give to a teenager who wants to start working in the business?
Just do any production you can. Just put yourself out there. If you want to film with your phone. Make movies, or just kind of get out there in any way, and just there's no such thing as a small job. Everything's important. So
I do so much music for film and television that it's so nice to see my peers being honored, and of course Boyhood was tremendous. So to see the director being awarded tonight is so nice.
There's so many people who are behind the camera who don't get any credit, and I'm in front of the camera, and there tends to be lots of award ceremonies for those people, and those people get celebrated. But to make a good film, you need creative people in every department, and sound is definitely a really important one. So I'm just here to show some support for people behind the scenes.
And you just won an award.
I did. Yeah.
Show it to the camera. How does that feel?
It's shocking. I had no idea that this would even ever happen, and I'm so honored and so excited to. Yeah, it feels like all of my hard work has really paid off.
So what made you want to pursue this as a career?
I had always just been fascinated by how sound can accelerate a story far more than picture ever can.
If you could travel back in time and give one piece of advice to your teen self, what would it be?
Don't worry, your curves will be appreciated in the future.
Our third stop is the Satellite Awards, which has a strong focus on international work.
I'm Ellen Burstyn, and tonight I'm getting the Mary C. Pickford Award.
And how does receiving the Mary Pickford Award make you feel?
Well, it's a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I've been in the business for 50 years, so it's nice to have my work recognized. I love it.
Sure. Now, you've been working in Hollywood for a long time. Is there anything from like the old age of Hollywood that you'd like to see make a comeback now?
Yes, I would like to see the actors really study acting. You know, we went to the actor's studio when I was first coming up, and we learned how to act. And I feel a lot of people are kind of made stars on the basis of their looks. They get a TV series or something, and they don't really learn the art of acting. So I wish actors would dive a little deeper into the art.
Definitely important to study the craft,
Yeah.
Now it's time for a time machine question. If you could go back in time and give your teen self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh my God, my teen self. I think it would be to try as best as possible to be authentic and not to feel that there was a certain way I was supposed to act. And try to please people by certain behavior, but really be as true to myself as I could.
If you're going to dream big, and never let anyone sway your dreams. I'm living proof of that. I'm living my dream out as we speak.
To my teen self. Find something else to do besides acting with your life. You know, you could do that, but, you know, find some way to make a living, too.
What advice do you have for young filmmakers?
There's one. Be patient.
Patience.
Be patient. Be patient. Zaza?
Ja, mladych. They should work very hard. Yeah.
And why do you think it's so important to include foreign projects in an event like this?
So, I mean, for us, as we are foreigners here, we think it's the most important thing at all, of course. You know? So they should always be included. Always include foreign projects. Agrees. Disagrees.
What advice do I have to teenagers who want to go into the business? I don't know, really. Find another job. No, I'm joking. I think, you know, it's an amazing venture, you know. It's like a beautiful venture to go out and to try to express yourself. I think the most important thing is like maybe to really be truthful to what you want to say, what you want to tell. Try to keep on that and then see what luck brings on.
Why do you think including foreign projects is so important at an event like this?
Wow. Truthfully, like usually my favorite films of the year are the foreign ones.
Yeah?
I'm married to a foreigner who's a foreign director, and he opened up my eyes, my world, to so many incredible movies, including, you know, Israeli films. There's a lot of great films coming out of Israel right now. But my God, Wild Tales and Timbuktu and Force Majeure, and I mean, these were like some of the, you know, along with Birdman and Boyhood, etc., and Whiplash, etc., etc.
Some of the best movies of
for sure.
Recent time.
The you know, the rest of the world does incredible movies, and we're so sort of, you know, myopic and you know what we watch as Americans. So I really hope that people start watching more foreign cinema.
The world is one big place, even though it's a lot of little places. And I think if we all bind together to to understand and support projects, again, beyond our social circle, there's a wealth of knowledge and influence that you can have in numbers.
From my perspective, I mean, this film is about a national park in eastern Congo, but the issues at its heart really affect everyone throughout the world. If somewhere as important, as iconic, as home to the last of the world's mountain gorillas is destroyed, if somewhere that important goes, what is left on our planet that can be protected? So we all need to really care about what happens in other parts of the world.
What advice do you have for teenagers who want to break into the industry?
Run. No, I would. If you love it and you love stories, go for it.
You have to love it.
You gotta love it.
The biggest advice is you gotta love it. It's very tough.
So what are you guys most excited about for tonight's event?
Well, our category, I guess. And just it's so lovely that Transparent has been so recognized and so embraced, and that, the more and more light that gets shined on it, the more people see it, and it's a really wonderful show, and it's doing amazing things for the transgender community, and just in general, it's great entertainment. So that's what we're here to celebrate.
It is, and I'm transgender myself, so it's actually special for me to be part of this show, and this show is just incredible storytelling about a family whose patriarch came out as transgender, and all that sort of unravels and follows after that is actually really beautiful. One of the greatest things about this family, we say this a lot in interviews, it's the question is raised, will you love me if I? And the answer is always a resounding yes. So it's a really beautiful story.
Now what's the best advice you can give to a teenager who's maybe struggling with gender identity?
Wow. Call me. You know what? There's so many support.
Ian's actually not kidding. He's
I'm not kidding.
completely available on Facebook.
I do. I actually. I have so many people reach out to me on Facebook, but there are so many. Trevor Project has a teen line, which is fantastic. There's also a transgender hotline now. You can Google it, and it comes up as the second thing when you search a transgender hotline. So it's something that is now available specifically for people who are struggling. But outside of that, I would say, everybody feels uncomfortable with their body, everybody, and that you are not alone in that feeling, and that we all just do different, quirky, weird, cool, amazing things to deal with it. And I think that you are not the only person that ever felt awkward in your skin, and to please stick around and Facebook me.
Yeah, absolutely. And watch Transparent, because then you'll feel like you're not alone,
Absolutely, yes.
Now, let's check out the Writers Guild Awards, which honors the men and women who were the first to imagine the worlds and characters you see on your screens.
What was it like to see your work come to life for the very first time?
It was amazing, actually. If we're talking television film, for me, that was on The Twilight Zone in 1986. I'd been writing books and short stories for 15 years, but 86 was the first time I got involved in television. And I wrote the script, and it got put into production, and suddenly there were hundreds of people building the sets, and there were actors, famous actors and actresses, who were saying the words that I'd written on paper. It was like a dream that had been in my head was assuming tangible reality on the soundstage behind my office. And that's a level of excitement that very few things in life have compared with, especially the first time, As in many other things, the first time is always very memorable.
If you could give one piece of advice to teens who want to get into screenwriting, what would it be?
You have to persist. I mean, it's a profession that has absolutely no security and a lot of rejection. So if you're easily discouraged, you're not going to make it. You have to keep going. You have to get through those rejections and say, to hell with them, I'm going to write the next one, and I'm going to write the next one after that, I'm going to write the next one after that, and just keep going.
Tonight's a really special event because it's for writers, by writers, and full of writers. And I'm a very proud writer myself, and to get to spend tonight celebrating with my peers whose work I admire so much is a wonderful thrill.
What do you think makes a great story?
I think there's a lot of things. I think surprise. I think Alan Turing's story, the story we tell in this film, is a story that, even through the years of research I did on it, every time I would pick up a new book, I would learn something new. It was an amazing, true story that if someone tried to make it up, you couldn't. You'd never believe it.
What advice would you give to young people who want to get into screenwriting?
Keep writing and don't stop writing. Fill pages after pages after pages, because I filled lots of pages before I wrote anything that anyone really liked, or even anything that I really liked. And I think it took me a lot of time, and it took me lots of pages of really bad writing. But that's part of the process. Don't despair when you write a page of something that's not very good. That's good. That's valuable. That's the process. Make the next page a little bit better.
Well, what do you think makes a great story?
Well, it needs to have a good ending. So you need to come up with the ending first and then work yourself backwards. Because sometimes people start out strong and they'll say, last year we went to the mountains, and then it peters out and then we all went home. Yeah. Well, something must have happened. You had me at the mountains, yeah. So you have to, you need something.
Tell me something that teens would be surprised to know about your job.
About my job? Sometimes I have to get up at 4 a.m. Oh my God. It seems like a glamorous job, but it's not funny to wake up at 4 a.m. and go to work for the whole day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I remember when I was a teenager, I slept a lot. My favorite thing was sleeping. So if I would have known that then about acting, I'm not sure I would have picked it.
What advice would you give to teens who want to get into screenwriting?
Write. That's the only thing you can do. You write, you read scripts and watch movies and just keep working at it. There's nothing else you can do except sticking with it. The people who succeed are the people who don't give up.
Now it's time for a time machine question. If you could go back in time and give your teen self one piece of advice, what would it be?
It would be, you might as well relax and have more fun because it's all going to be the same in the end.
If I could give my teen self one piece of advice, it's just listen to your heart. That's it. That's really it. I mean, look, you know where your life is going, right? You know what you want to do, and you know what's right for you. That doesn't mean don't listen to parents and other kind of authority figures and other people in your life that can offer you advice. There is advice there. But the thing is, in your heart, you know where you're going, right? And if you compromise early, it's very hard to get back to that thing that you love. So just stick with it. Get better at it.
Tell me something that people would be surprised to know about your job.
Yeah, I think, just that there's so many obstacles every day that you're making a movie, especially a documentary. It's they come out of nowhere, and just every day is a struggle. But you just keep going, and you got to do it, Exactly.
Well, do you have any funny stories from on set?
Yeah, I had a protagonist in my movie that was basically kind of sticking his swear finger up at me and disrespecting me all the time, but it made for a great movie. So you should see this film. It's a very unique character. It's a great character, yeah. So sometimes you gotta sacrifice yourself for the good of the movie.
What do you think makes a great story?
A character makes a great story. I really believe in character coming first, and this Chris Kyle was a fantastic character. He was blessed with a gift that cost him a lot personally.
And what advice would you give to teens who want to get into screenwriting?
Take your time. Take your time to write a great script. Don't write 3 good scripts. You need a great one. So even if it takes a year or it takes 2 years, take your time and make it great.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to get into screenwriting?
I don't know.
Just start writing.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, you don't have to have permission to write. That's the great thing about writing. You don't need money to write. You just sit down at your computer or your notepad or your typewriter, whatever it is, and just write. I've kind of come to the belief that the more personal the writing, the more actually other people will connect to it. The more you can sort of dig deep into yourself and even put stuff that might embarrass you or scare you onto the page, the more that other people will recognize that humanity.
If you are an aspiring filmmaker, if you're an aspiring writer, director, I would say find other people who are like you and make work together. It's really fun to work with others, making films and telling stories, and your work gets better as you share it and show it.
Finally, with every award season comes plenty of swag. Yep, free stuff. This year I was invited to the GBK pre-Oscar gifting suite, where I got to meet a lot of cool business owners who hooked me up with some amazing merchandise. Thanks to all the great brands.
Hi, I'm David Oyelowo, and you're watching Teens Wanna Know.
Hi, I'm Salli Richardson Whitfield.
And I'm Dondre Whitfield, and we want to give a big shout out to Teens Wanna Know.
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 Teens want to know.
Teens Wanna Know.
Teens want to know.
Teens want to know.
Teens want to know. Bong bong.
Hey everybody, this is Carroll and Hennessy with Michael, and you're watching Teens Wanna Know.
I'm Ellen Burstyn, and you're watching Teens Wanna Know.
We were watching the Grammys and I said that one freaky lady looks like Kristen Wiig.